My name is Peggy, and welcome to English Language Skills Level 1 in Unit 2. For this unit, you were to have completed 2 lessons in Duolingo. And just as a reminder, Duolingo, the free online language program, will be the resource through which you learn how to speak English. Part of learning how to speak English involves understanding a language's grammar. And I will be helping you with that component of the learning experience. Duolingo does provide grammar instruction as well, and I showed you where to locate that last time. But I will be providing a more thorough and additional instruction on grammar. So today I'll walk you through those materials that have been sent to you as attachments in an email. You are listening to this before or after you've received that email. Within these documents that you'll receive each week of the 12-unit program, 1 email per week, I provide an overview of what will be contained in that particular unit. So let's go there now to get an overview of what you'll be learning during this session. I'm going to locate that. And share it with you. All right. I provide both an English and a Spanish translation. We'll send the Spanish version to you. And if you'd like the English as well, which is always useful for comparison, just request that you get both versions. In this unit, I'll remind you of your assignment for this unit, which was to complete the first 2 lessons in Duolingo. Thereafter, I introduced the English alphabet, the fact that you'll receive a lesson on the English alphabet, and we will go to look at that lesson momentarily. I also provide an introduction to a 1-page introduction to the 8 parts of speech, and I'll explain that directly as well once we visit it. I mention here that you can access grammar lessons that are very useful within Duolingo. I demonstrated that last time. So if you didn't see the first recording, go check that out. This is just a reminder of how to locate those lessons. Then I introduce that we'll be learning a comparison between Spanish and English subject pronouns. To help you understand this 1-page document, I will share with you a PowerPoint, and then we'll go look at the document. Finally, a reminder that you're allowed to move ahead within Duolingo if this pace that I have set for this first level 1 program is too slow for you, because the material that I cover in these Zoom sessions will be appropriate no matter where you are within Duolingo. So with that overview provided, let's begin with the lesson on the English alphabet. I will now share that document with you. I have to open it on my desktop before I can share it. And so here we have the lesson. Now, just to show you, it's a very brief lesson, just 2 pages, and then a chart of the English alphabet. Let's start with this chart. Here you have a listing of each of the letters in the English alphabet, provided in upper and lower case, and with a pronunciation key, a key that helps you know how to say the name for the letter. And I want to make a distinction here. There is a letter name for the alphabet, those sounds we make when we recite the alphabet. For example, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on. And there is a sound that the letters make within a word, which are different in most cases. Here, you're looking at a pronunciation key for the letter names. And I'm going to read these through for your benefit right now. And note how the pronunciation key should sound like the letter I am saying. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. Now, I have some resources embedded in this lesson as links to 2 different videos where you'll be provided both pronunciation of these letters and close-ups of how the mouth forms the sound. So we'll get to that quickly. But first, I want to say something about the nature of the alphabet. The 26 letters of the alphabet has 5 vowels, the shaded letters A, E, I, O, and U. And the rest are called consonants. And Spanish has the exact same 5 vowels. So Spanish and English are very similar. However, let's first distinguish why is a letter called a vowel and why is it called a consonant. Well, actually, there is an explanation. Vowels are called vowels because when you make the sound of a vowel, your vocal tract is open. Your mouth and your throat is open to the sound. So for instance, listen to the vowels. A, E, I, O, U. There's no obstruction. It's clear and continuous. Consonants, on the other hand, are consonants because there is you create an obstruction in expressing the sound. For instance, B is a consonant. And when I say the letter B, I put my lips together, B. Unlike the vowel where your mouth is open and the sound just flows freely, A. Notice the distinction between that and B. there is an obstruction to the sound releasing from your mouth. And in this case, it's the lips, B. Sometimes the obstruction can be your tongue. Sometimes it can be your palate. But in all cases with the consonants, you have an obstruction. Q. I can feel my tongue, Q, pushing up against my teeth when I say that letter. So that's the distinction between consonants and vowels. In Spanish, vowel sounds are each vowel has one sound. In English, as taught traditionally in elementary school, vowels have two sounds. One is long and one is short. And the long sound is called long because it takes longer to say it. For instance, A as compared to A. A. Notice the difference? A is the long sound and A is the short sound. Coincidentally, the letter names for these five vowels, A, E, I, O, U, are the same as their long sound. So the long sound for E is E, and the long sound for I is I. But the short sounds are different, and you're going to learn those short and long sounds for the vowels in these recorded videos that are within this lesson. So let's go and go to these YouTube videos. I didn't record them. These are online as YouTube videos. For me to share these videos, I have to first close out of that document and go to the video in question.
The alphabet.
Okay. Now, bear with me. And I will locate my Zoom screen again. And once again, we will share. And now we are looking at the YouTube, the alphabet. Let's open this up. Begin this. We're going to listen to the first four letters just so that you know.
The alphabet. A. 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 B. 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 C. C. K. K. D. 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 D.
Okay, here you have two different pronunciations. Each letter begins with the letter name, and the person speaking says that twice, A. And then you come to a frame with an ear, and the letter is pronounced not as you would recite it in the alphabet, but as it would sound in a word. So for instance, D is the letter name, but D as pronounced in a word, for instance, dark, drill, do. These sounds are duh, duh, duh. But here I want to make just a little note for you that the sounds provided for the consonants are those sounds that you would hear at the start of a word. Some of these letters will make different sounds within a word. So keep that in mind, that you're not hearing all of the sounds associated with any consonant and or vowel, but you're hearing the most conspicuous and frequent sounds. All right, so that is one of the videos. And I'm going to go back to the screen share of this and just show you that we were just now listening to this link. Let's now move to another, which I really like because you get to hear the letters as they sound in words, and a close-up of a young woman pronouncing the sound, which is very helpful. So once again, I'm going to find this online so that I can open it and share it. And here we go again. Sharing. Okay. And we'll start it from, and we'll just get an idea of it. Now, just to make a point, to give an example, I just mentioned how the sounds that you're being given are just one sound, a conspicuous sound, but that these letters might make more varied sounds within a word. Perfect example is C. You just heard the hard C as k, k, as in cut, cat, cope. But there's also a soft C that sounds something like an S, as in cereal, circus. So again, keep that in mind. And we'll learn more as we go. You're not expected to know everything at once. I can't provide all the resources at once, nor would you want to absorb them all at once. We like to do this, I think, at a nice pace so you can absorb content. Next, let's go to the 8 parts of speech document. We'll get out of the 8 parts of speech. Open that up. This is an introduction to what is called the 8 parts of speech. Basically, this is a foundation of all grammatical study, because grammar is learning the rules of a language, and the 8 parts of speech are the words or definitions of the words that are contained within a language. For instance, if you were to take all the words in a dictionary, whether English, Spanish, or any language, you can take all the words and divide them up among the parts of speech. And in English and in Spanish, there are 8 parts of speech. And these parts define how that group of words function. For instance, as an example, a noun. You might remember from school that a noun is a person, a place, or a thing. So words like broom, house, yard, table, desk, dog, Susan, person's name. These are all the ocean, Mount Rushmore, that's a proper noun. It's a particular place. So nouns are person, places, and things. And their function is to name, is to label. So if I look in a room, I can see things that have already been labeled by the language: curtain, window, floor, chair, desk, flowers, dogs in the other room. Nouns name things. All right, so that's an example, but there are 8. And we'll be looking at these over time. In fact, today I'm going to introduce pronouns, which if we look on this color-coded chart, we see here, pronouns. We have nouns, adjectives, verbs, adverbs, prepositions, pronouns, conjunctions, and interjections. And the Spanish 8 parts of speech are very comparable. In fact, just a slight change, but I won't discuss that here. So when you read this short 1-page introduction, you'll get a general idea that we will be understanding throughout this program, these parts and how they work together so that you can better learn to speak English. So now we're going to close that out. And we're going to move to our next topic, which is the last document, which is one that shows a chart of pronouns as comparing Spanish with English pronouns. But before you can look at that chart, you need to know, well, what are pronouns? And for that purpose, I have a PowerPoint. I'm going to open that up and we'll just very briefly review it. Let me get it started. All right, now I can share it with you. And while I read the English translation, you can read the Spanish or the English, whichever you prefer. This moves so quickly. Okay. An introduction to subject pronouns. And subject pronouns, the subject pronouns we're going to look at are a group called personal pronouns. By the way, there are different types of pronouns. So this is a narrow look at personal pronouns among a larger group. And then within the personal pronouns, we're going to look at a special group of them called subject pronouns, and we'll understand why in a moment. I need to move my little self down here. Pronouns take the place of nouns. And I just reminded you on the nature of nouns, naming words. Here's an example. Here's a sentence that has 2 nouns. Travis can't make the game. Travis is a proper noun, meaning it's a particular person, not just a man or boy, it's Travis, it's some particular person. That is called a proper noun. Travis is a noun, and the word game is a noun because it names something that we would refer to as a game. And the game can be defined in many ways. Rather than say and identify Travis in the game, I might choose to use pronouns. I say initially, Travis can't make the game. And then when someone says, what? And I respond, he can't make it. I don't repeat the nouns. I can use pronouns. He for Travis and it for game. So pronouns take the place of a noun. Here's another sentence with 3 proper nouns. Shelley, Chester, and Diane are planning the party. These are proper nouns. And here's just a regular noun, a party. It's a thing. But if I don't want to say Shelley, Chester, and Diane again, I can say they. They is the pronoun that represents a plural of when you have a group of things. So in this case, the group is Shelley, Chester, and Diane. So they are planning it. The party is a thing, and the pronoun in English for something that is a thing is it. If we didn't use pronouns, we'd have to repeat the nouns each time, and that would get tedious. A personal pronoun used as the subject of a sentence is called a subject pronoun. Now, you might say, what is a subject of a sentence? And that is a topic for a later unit. But to be very brief, the subject of a sentence is that part that identifies the topic of the sentence. Who is this sentence about? And typically, subjects, often subjects will be found at the start of the sentence. So in this case, the pronoun she is being used as the subject. She laughed at the idea. The sentence is about she, and that might be Lisa or Sarah or Mary, whoever the she is. But the sentence is about she. And when a pronoun is used as the subject in a sentence, and again, we'll learn about subjects, but for now, this is adequate. What I'm saying, it's the topic of a sentence. You use only subject pronouns. And this is the Spanish translation. She is equivalent to ella in Spanish. Pronouns used as the subject are in the subjective case. We will learn basically this phrase, subjective case, is just a fancy way of saying that the pronouns, these pronouns are always used as subjects. I, you, he, she, we, they, it. You cannot use them in any other part of the sentence other than as a subject. I will never forget that day. She gave notice to her employer. Now, granted, there's a lot more to know to better appreciate what I just shared. It's just that you have to start somewhere. So when I say we just looked at the subjective case, that means there are other cases. But rather than try to give you all of them in one session, we'll just stick with this subject pronoun, this pronouns used as subjects, which will bring us to that last document that I want to share. And now it will make sense for you. Okay, I'm sorry, but I didn't open it. I have to always open these documents before I can share them. And the last document to share is this document about subject pronouns, a comparison between those in English and in Spanish. Here we see a chart that shows those in Spanish. The singular forms, meaning one, and the plural forms, meaning more than one. Let's look at the comparison for more information between English and Spanish. The singular form of a personal pronoun in this subject pronoun is yo. And in English, it is I. In Spanish, you use yo more for emphasis and clarification, but not as a necessity. For instance, the verb hablar in English, meaning to speak or to talk for English. In Spanish, you might say hablo inglés, I speak English. You wouldn't have to say yo hablo inglés because hablo already says who is speaking, that it is meant that I speak English. In Spanish, the verbs, and we'll learn about verbs coming up next unit. We'll be learning about verbs all the time. They're so important. But to start, we'll begin next unit. The verb hablar can change its ending to hablo, hablas, hablan, hablamos. Every ending indicates who is being referenced. And in the case of yo, you don't need to say yo most of the time. In English, you always have to use the pronoun. There is no way that the verb itself can express who the pronoun refers to. In Spanish, you have two forms of the pronoun you, singular you, as if I were talking to just one person. I was just talking to Mary, and I say, Mary, you must understand. You, I would say too, if Mary was my friend, but if Mary was an applicant to a position and she was being interviewed, I would say usted, I'd be formal. In English, we don't have a distinction. There is no informal, formal. It's just you. The L is equivalent to he, ella equivalent to she, and in Spanish, you have no word for the pronoun it as a subject. You don't create your sentences in that way. You have pronouns for it, but not as a subject, and we'll understand that as we go along. In the plural form of I, in English, the word is we. Because if I am here alone and then two people come in, I would say, we can start dinner. And I'm part of that group. So we is the plural of I. In Spanish, you attribute gender, male, female, to pronouns, some pronouns, and to all nouns. In English, we have no gender attribute. Nouns and pronouns are all neutral. There's no male and female, which makes it more simple. In Spanish, you would have nosotros for men, nosotras for women. In Spanish, if you had a plural you, before I was talking to say Mary, just Mary and I were talking, but if I were talking to say everyone listening to this video at once, and maybe there are 5, and I say, you will want to complete this and that and that, I'm talking to all 5, that would be plural. Oddly, in English, we have the same word you for both plural and for singular. And of course, in Spanish, you would use the word ustedes for plural. Now, in Spain, and they use the word for the informal you, the plural of the informal you, they use vosotros, vosotras, but Latin America does not use that. And then for the plural of he and she, we use they. Once again, because of your gender attributes, you would have either eos or eas to distinguish between male or female. And if it's a mixed group, you would use eos. But we have just one word, they, no distinction. Finally, down here, you'll see just the pronouns in singular and plural as they appear in the English language. It's very important to get accustomed to these charts that show pronouns, because they will be paired with verbs throughout your grammar instruction. It's a way to teach you how verbs and subjects interact. In fact, and I'll close on this, in the first lesson that you completed in Duolingo, if you check the grammar element behind that lesson, you might remember seeing, once again, I forgot to open it up, so it won't be there for you. So let me do this as a final. Oh, okay, I guess it's sharing. This document here. Do you remember seeing this within Duolingo? This has to do with the verb to be, which is a subject 2 units from now. Not next time, but maybe in the next time. No, 3 units from now. But you'll see this often where you have a listing of pronouns, and beside that, in another column, a listing of verbs. And it's important to get this convention down before we proceed. So that concludes this session, Unit 2. By next, Unit 3, you are to complete 2 more lessons in Duolingo. Basically, that's the current schedule, 2 each week. But you do have that syllabus that I sent out last time, so you can refer to that if you forget where we are. And I will see you next week. Until then, have a nice time studying and living. Okay. Until then, bye-bye.